consuming that fixation became was discovered in July 1961 after his suicide. Prominent among the documents and personal effects in Hemingway's study was a bundle of letters from Agnes, 40 years after she had jilted him, through 4 marriages, innumerable affairs, and countless addresses. Hemingway had preserved those fragmented memories of his first unconsummated and unrequited love. 7 years older than her patient, Agnes was born in Germantown, Pennsylvania, the daughter of a German-born father and an American mother from a distinguished military family. A fluent French speaker, Agnes had spent her early years on army posts in Vancouver and Alaska, and had also worked as a librarian in Washington, D.C. before training as a nurse in New York. Tall, slim, with chestnut hair and blue-gray eyes, she was characterized by Henry Villard, a fellow patient who would collect, edit, and publish her diaries in 1989 as easily the most scintillating of the nurses, cheerful, quick, sympathetic, with an almost mischievous sense of humor. Volunteering for night duty in order to spend more uninterrupted time with the big, good-looking patient, whom she would later describe as always in good spirits despite the severity of his wounds. Agnes was to find herself drawn inexorably to a quite remarkable and remarkably brave young man. She recalled how terrified that his doctors might decide to amputate his legs and determined to eliminate any possible source of gangrene, Hemingway resorted to drastic measures. The first few days, he was using a penknife to dig out pieces of shrapnel. He was still doing it when he got home, he said in a letter. More ominously, especially considering Hemingway's later alcoholism and drink-related illnesses, Agnes also recalled that he drank brandy all the time. I think he slept very well. If he did sleep well, it was without Agnes, who vehemently denied and clearly resented all later assumptions that, as a character of Catherine Barclay was so clearly based on her and that of Frederick Henry so obviously based on Hemingway's dream of himself as a hero, they had been lovers in real life. Until her own death in 1984, Agnes would protest that while she loved Ernest Hemingway, she had never made love with him, that commitment was being saved for when he returned to America, found himself a job, and sent for her. Then they would be married, and only then would they sleep together. It did not, of course, happen that way. After Hemingway returned home, Agnes met and fell in love with Lieutenant Domenico Caracciolo, heir to Neapolitan dukedom, heir to a Neapolitan dukedom. Before she learned that his family would not permit marriage to a woman they viewed as no more than an upstart American gold digger, Agnes wrote Hemingway a curt, regretful letter which he, against drawing on life for his fiction, would refer to in his novella The Snows of Kilimanjaro. There, his central character, Harry, described the effect rejection by a former lover had had on him. He had written her, the first one, the one who left him, a letter telling her how he had never been able to kill it, his love, how everyone he had slept with only made him miss her more, how what she had done could never matter, since he knew he could not cure himself of loving her. If Harry was only articulating Hemingway's own deepest thoughts, they go a long way to explaining his repeated failure to sustain any of his 4 subsequent marriages and his many brief and inevitably stormy love affairs. Indelibly scared by Agnes's betrayal, he could never trust any woman completely and would cause all relationships to collapse beneath the weight of his paranoia. No matter how loving or loyal his women were, Hemingway's innate mistrust was calculated to drive them away. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. He would repeat time and again